right, is everybody ready? Yeah!
Let's get it on, everybody. Welcome back to the Get Sunday Covered podcast. It's your boy, your commissioner. My name is Cody. I am joined, as always, by my good friend Brandon, aka Tiggle Gritties. And as you can see, we've got another player exclusive. Help me to welcome our 2021 champion. Y'all know him as Steeler Virginity. I know him better as Jordan. What's up, my guy? Thanks for joining us. How you doing?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me. Good morning. Good Sunday for football.
It is a beautiful day for football. Brandon, what's good, dude?
What's up, brothers? How we feeling? Another day of Sunday, another day of football. Excited. Already one game in the book. See what we can make happen this weekend.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Jordan, I know you caught the early game. What'd you think of that?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like I don't know. I like the London games because it starts the day early off with football, but I just feel like a lot of those games are slow starts and they're kind of ugly. Like today, 9 field goals. No one wants to see that for fantasy. Like, right. No one wants that, but it's better
At
than
least in our league, right?
Yeah, no kickers. I agree.
No kickers.
Yeah,
no kickers. But you know, I gotta represent. I got Finkel on today. That's a good kicker though. Take that.
Laces out.
Laces out, man. Gotta know that. Well, cool, man. So you just hanging out all day, catching football? You got any plans? You just chilling?
No, just hanging out, watching football like always. So that's, like I said, that's what I like about the London games, because you got it from 7:30 in the morning to 9 o'clock at night with the Sunday night game. Even though it's probably not going to be a good one this Sunday night with the Bills and Giants, but we'll see. Yeah, you never know. Maybe the Giants can pull one out of their hat.
So I read an interesting stat. The Giants haven't lost in New York in like 30 plus years.
What? Did you say read that again?
The Giants, they have not lost a game within New York State in 30 years.
Oh, well.
Yeah. Think about it.
I was like, I don't think that's true, man.
Right? We'll see.
I see in New Jersey, but
right.
Yeah. I see you're rocking full on Steelers today, man. I think for anybody that knows you, you're a Colorado native. How does that work? Because you're Pittsburgh all the way. Steelers, Penguins. What's up with that?
Yep. So technically I was born in Pittsburgh. Moved from Pittsburgh when I was 4 years old. Pittsburgh to California, outside of LA, lived in there for maybe like 4 or 5 years, moved to Las Vegas, Nevada, till I was in 7th grade, moved to Eagle, Colorado, and have lived in Colorado since 99. So 24 years I've been in Colorado now. So I pretty much consider Colorado home, but I had 2 older brothers. My oldest brother was a big sports fan, and from when I was early on kid, like one of my fondest memory, I think, was the 94 Super Bowl. The Steelers lost to the Cowboys. Neil O'Donnell threw 4 interceptions, and like that was my first memory as the Steelers. And I was like, and my brother always liked the teams and always rooted for Pittsburgh teams, so it kind of grew on me. And sports were always a big outlet in my life. So especially with Steelers teams, like, you know, they've had their ups and their downs, but I feel Steelers teams for the better part of the last 20 years have all done good, except for the Pirates. Everyone knows they're pretty much bad, one of the worst teams in baseball. But the good thing about Pittsburgh is the Penguins are good. Steelers have been pretty consecutive. I always tell people, like, the good thing about the Steelers is, they've had 3 coaches over the past like 50 years. So it's like super consistent, that organization, and they don't put up with kind of any like prima donna players and stuff. So it's like just a good all around organization. And but yeah, that's how I got into sports, was pretty much because of my oldest brother. And like I said, he was always watching Pittsburgh teams, and it just became part of who I was. But especially living in Colorado now for 24 years, like I've obviously like I'm a really big hockey fan. Like I'm probably more of a hockey fan than I am a football fan, but I can talk football with the best of them. So, but as far as hockey, I like the Avs. And I try to like the Broncos and try to watch them, but it's like, man, these this year, and especially after last year, it's been tough. Like I don't even consider myself like a diehard fan or anything like that, but for the people that are natives and been fans their whole life, like these past couple of years, like that Russell Wilson trade is up there with like the Trey Lance, like moving up to draft him, try to get, a quarterback, and you see how it pays off, and you got people like Brock Purdy that come out and are making less than $1 million a year and doing what he's doing. So you just never know. So
that may go down as one of the worst moves in franchise history for us. And I hate to say it, but if something doesn't happen quickly, he may get hated right out of Denver.
Yeah.
He may not have a job next year.
Yeah. Might not take too many more games this year, the way it's going.
Yep. Full on riding the tank, it seems like.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. Thanks for that. And we're really happy to have you on here. I'm assuming you saw Seven's interview. It was really cool to chat with him. We just wanted to get you on here, not just for the people in our league, but just for everybody to get to understand the players in our league and bring a little bit more of a personal vibe to, the type of people that we play fantasy with, and give people a chance to relate to some of those things. So let's just go ahead and jump on into it, man. Let's rewind a little bit. You've been a sports fan all your life, you said. How long have you been playing fantasy football? If I remember correctly, I know you pretty well. You've been playing for quite a while, right? This goes back probably, 15, 20 years?
Yeah, this probably honestly goes back to I know we had a kind of a discussion about it, and people didn't want to bring up ages in our chat there. But I think I'm the fourth oldest in our league behind Seamus, Whitney, and Stefan. I think I'm the oldest. So yeah, fantasy but goes back for me probably 2001, 2002, with logging into a computer. You have the drop boxes to change your position. You have to click the save button. Like, it was kind of a struggle back then. I never did pre-internet or anything like that, or offline drafts or anything like that. But yeah, I've been doing it since back then, where, back in the day, you were trying to get a Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison stack like that. So I've been playing fantasy for a long time. Football's always been the main fantasy for me. Pretty much been playing fantasy hockey for, I'd say, the better part of 15 years too. I've tried to do baseball. I feel like if you have a job, that's not realistic. Like, you need to not have a job to play fantasy baseball. Fantasy basketball, tried that too. But obviously, fantasy football is the easiest because it's, one most everyone knows about. It's the least amount of games to have to pay attention to. But yeah, probably 20 years I've been doing fantasy football, and obviously it's gotten better with the apps and on your phone, not having to log into a computer, not having drop boxes, not clicking save buttons. So, and especially with shout out to the Sleeper, like their app has become huge for fantasy. Like, super convenient. They've made it definitely user friendly. I think it is. I actually changed my league I used to run on Yahoo since the early 2000s to Sleeper, just because of it. It is convenient, and they do focus on the fantasy aspect of it a lot more. So,
yeah, and just little insight into that, you named your league No More Yahoo just to switch over to Sleeper, and I thought that was great.
Yeah, so like, because I do like Yahoo, and I think Yahoo is still one of the best ones for fantasy hockey. But as far as football, I just felt like they were behind Sleeper. Like, felt like it was like they were just behind in technology a little bit for their apps. So
definitely, as long as it's not the ESPN app, I can't stand playing fantasy football on the ESPN app.
That's
terrible.
Yeah, that's what my fantasy hockey one is this year with my buddy Ryan. And I tell him, like, I feel like I'm on an app that's I'm using 10 years ago, like having to edit my lineup and change guys in and out and click save. Like I thought we got away from this stuff, but obviously ESPN, they focus on other subjects more than their fantasy, I'm sure. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And Sleeper is definitely became a top notch within fantasy football. I've convinced another league of mine to switch from ESPN over to Sleeper, which is so nice to be able to just have all of them within one. But Jordan, just tell us a little bit about your experience within GSC, how you got involved, and just what you love about being part of not only our league, but fantasy football in general.
So I guess with GSC, obviously I've known Cody for almost 20 years now, 18 years, I'd say somewhere around there. And I guess when I first met Cody, he wasn't like, super big into football, not super big into sports, but we actually met playing hockey. So we always kind of had hockey in common in general. And I'd say some years after that is I remember he started a fantasy football league, and I remember he used to show me his weekly reports that he'd write for guys in the league for matchups and stuff that happened throughout the week. And I always thought I'd never seen the show The League, and I was like, no, I haven't. He's like, well, you'd love it, like if you love fantasy football. So obviously I watched the show. I love fantasy football, love the show. It's hilarious. I wish, if it wasn't acting and stuff, you could be as dedicated as those guys are in the show to do some stuff like that. But I always felt like it was always cool how they were always, just super talkative throughout, like a lot, which I've never been in a league like GSC where it is like more competitive and people are always engaged and people always know what's going on with pickups, like where it is with other leagues, sometimes, on a Thursday morning or Wednesday, you can pick a guy up after waivers, like after it clears, because you don't have 9 guys bidding on one person to try to get someone to help their league. So this is my third year in GSC, right?
Yes.
Yeah, third year. So I wish I got in it sooner, but the league was always kind of filled up. So I always told Cody, hey man, like as soon as you got an open spot, like let me know. And so I was there for one of the drafts where I wasn't even in the league yet, and I was like, this is super cool, like I've never been in a league that like ever Zooms or anything other than maybe a couple people talking while the draft's going on or something. So I like this league. Like I said, I like that it is competitive. There is drama, obviously, like stuff happens, it is what it is. Just got to get past it. And, it is, when it comes down to it, it is just a game. We all want to be friends. Everyone wants to win. Everyone is competitive. But yeah, as far as fantasy goes, this is definitely my favorite league. Like I said, I run my league. I've been pretty much running the league for 20 years in mine. It's not anything super competitive. It's more of my friends I want to get involved in fantasy and just keeping a league together where it is still semi-competitive and people. As I mainly care about for fantasy is when people are paying attention and they want to be competitive. They still want to win even when you are losing. Like you could take someone out of the playoffs and give someone better positioning by beating them or something, or that one win could change the end of the season where they drop down and they don't make the playoffs, because they are the bottom 2 or something. So maybe it's all about your individual matchups with one of your friends or a family member or someone that's just like kind of a rival of yours that you really want to beat them that week, and obviously, like I feel like the cool thing about fantasy is I think I've told you guys for years, I feel like it's 90% luck, 10% skill, because you never know what's going to happen on the field, injuries, or a guy's going to go off for 5 touchdowns one week and have 10 yards the next week, so that's why it is like, it really truly is gambling, like in the big aspect of it, on a smaller scale of it. So you never know what's going to happen. But yeah, I like fantasy. Like I said, I play fantasy hockey too. That just has a little bit more kind of upkeep with it. Obviously, a lot more games, a lot more players. You just kind of got to keep up with it and watch out for injuries on that, and look at who's trending to pick up on your week to week basis to play guys. Because, like I said, there's just a lot more games during the week, so it's not check it twice a week and you're good. It's kind of every day you kind of want to check your lineup and see how it's going. So it's just a little bit more competitive and a little bit more action in fantasy hockey. But so fantasy football, 3 leagues for me this year. I really didn't want to do more than two, but it's at the Fantasy Bros League we're all in is the third league
Yeah.
I didn't was going to happen, but which I'm glad it is. It's kind of more a chill league, and I have a pretty good team in that league. Which if I could copy that team to all three of my leagues, like I absolutely would trade that right now. Like I would be good with that in any league. So, but we'll see. It's still early on in the season, and I tell everyone it's all about just making the playoffs and go from there. Because once that happens, playoffs, it's one and done at that point. So,
Yeah, absolutely. That's actually a really interesting segue because I had some notes down here that I wanted to pick your brain on a little bit. You mentioned, fantasy hockey keeps a little bit or involves a little bit more upkeep for the team, and you got to make more moves with more players and things like that. But I know you, and I know that when it comes to fantasy football, you don't do a ton of research. You came into GSC as a rookie 2021. Right out of the gates, you get your first championship. Well done. You're the only person in this league to win the championship as a rookie. So kudos to you. Walk us through that a little bit. You don't listen to any of the podcasts, the footballers or anything else as far as research. You don't do mock drafts. Like you said, the 90% luck rule. It's obviously working out for you. Is there any strategy with what you do, or kind of tell us about that?
Honestly, probably like a big thing is being single. Like it definitely helps. Like I can watch a lot of sports. Like I have no one to keep me down on like, hey, can we watch a movie or show? Like no, I want to sit here all day Sunday and have football on my TV and have hockey on my iPad. Like I can do it. Like, so really, yeah, for me, I've never, you guys know me, like I kind of, talk crap on mock drafts because I'm like, what is it going to do for you when it comes to your actual draft? It's probably going to go completely different than every mock draft you've been doing. How many people are actually taking it serious every time instead of messing around, stuff like that. Yeah, when it comes down to it, I kind of just go off of like instinct and feel and just go off of names and look and think, who might have a good season this year, how was their season last year, just kind of stuff that, just me personally, I pay attention to and stuff I watch. Obviously, I'm more biased, I'd say, over, trying not to pick guys like maybe this year, like Saquon Barkley for me at the 8th spot in the draft might have been a mistake, but at the same time, Cooper Kupp was still there. And looking back on it, it's like I probably could have gone the first 4 weeks without Saquon because realistically, he gave me one good week so far, and that's been it. So, but yeah, I'm not a big fan of research or doing anything like that because when it comes down to it, it's research is what someone has done, not what they're going to do this year. It's so it always like in every draft, even fantasy hockey, every fantasy football draft, I'm never going through looking at, oh, this is a guy I need, that they're saying in podcasts, this guy's going to have a banger year, he's going to go off and stuff like that. That's not something I ever look at or pay attention to. It's just, it's kind of like more feel and, looking at people and thinking, this guy's going to have a good year, and sometimes it works out. Other times it doesn't, kind of with trades and stuff like that. It's just, I don't know. It's up to each person. Like that's why fantasy is cool. You can do a lot of research and think you're going to have the best team on paper. And comes down week one and someone tears their ACL, tears their Achilles. Garrett Wilson, perfect example. High on him. Yeah, I was. Aaron Rodgers with him. This guy's going to have a great year. And boom, Aaron Rodgers goes down.
Thanks for the reminder.
Yeah, and so Garrett Wilson value immediately goes down right there, and it's nothing against him, but like I hope Zach Wilson turns it around, does better. But it's just stuff like that. You truly never know what's going to happen. So that's why I always just kind of base it off of feel and kind of draft who I want. Sometimes I do look at buys. Like I definitely don't want to stack my top 3 guys all having the same bye week, stuff like that. Sometimes, it's out of your control. If there's a best available guy there, maybe you shouldn't take him, but it's going to be a great flex for you, and might have the same bye week as your top running back. It is what it is. For those other 14, 15 weeks, you're going to need that guy. It's going to be well worth it to have them on a bad stack for 1 week, I feel. So that I don't pay too much attention to, but yeah, I've just never been a fan of just doing research or podcasts or mock drafts. It's just kind of, I always looked at it as kind of like a waste of time, but to each their own. Like obviously I'm sure there's people out there who have done thousands of mock drafts that have won 10 out of their last 11 leagues, and I can break it. Well, you've had a lot of luck on your side, so it's just like, and that's what it comes down to. That's why I always say it's 90% luck, 10% skill, because there's a little bit of skill in who you're drafting, paying attention to waivers, putting the right money on guys, picking them up in the fab. But other than that, just go with your feel and go with your gut. Like, that's what I do when it comes down to trades or waivers or anything. That's, I don't know, it's the easiest way to make yourself feel better about it and not be second guessing every move you make and stuff. Just roll with it, and either the guys are going to do good or not. It's nothing you can do to change it, So truly, honestly, comes down to the players, how they perform for you, and the matchups you're playing against each week. You never know.
Do you have a favorite format that you like to play in? Whether it be best ball, dynasty, just PPR, half PPR, whatever it may be.
So yeah, me and I think PPR is probably my favorite. My league was just a traditional league for a long time, for probably 17 years. I always just did traditional, and I don't know, as football became, I guess, like more passer friendly, especially with running backs and stuff, you really weren't getting the value out of these guys unless they were getting touchdowns, and a lot of yards. So some of these guys that were getting 10 catches a game for 50 yards, you're getting 5 points out of this guy. So it's just like, oh, so I kind of looked at it, but yeah, PPR I think is probably my favorite now. Dynasty leagues are fun. Because definitely puts a lot more, into your thought each season as far as drafting who you're keeping and stuff like that each season, and only drafting rookies each year. So it's a whole different, realm of fantasy football when it comes to that. But definitely PPR, I think, is the most fair and best option, and like, I think, funnest way to play, and obviously the highest scoring points you're going to get in fantasy leagues. But best ball, I think that is like the easiest league anyone can do. You don't even have to worry about setting your lineup. Whoever does best immediately goes into your lineup. So that's like, for a league you don't really have to pay that much attention to. Super easy and super fun, and doesn't make you, slap yourself for not starting someone that has 30 points on your bench. So
that league that you were talking about earlier, the Fantasy Bros league that we're in, I really enjoyed when we did the best ball league there, which was great. How do you feel about the extra game format that they're doing this year? That was a topic that came up in our chat, and I think that we got some really mixed opinions on that one. I'm curious to hear your take on it.
Yeah, I was surprised that many people, like, I guess, didn't like it. It's definitely new for me. I never even knew that was a thing until I saw it, the league median, and that's when I read about it, and so like I said, the easiest way to break it down, you take everyone's 10 scores, add them all up, divide them by 10, and even if you lose that week, but you put up more points in the median, you still get a win. So it's a win and a loss. If you win, it's double wins. I honestly like it. I think it's pretty cool. Like, but at the same time, I do get like, man, if you're under that league median, like, you do get 2 losses, and that's like, that sucks, but there's always, each week you can make it up with two wins the next week. But I honestly like it. Like, I think it is cool because I know you were in a tough situation last year in our league where you scored a lot of points, and that's why fantasy, like, sometimes is just not fun, because you're outscoring everyone else in the league, and just the guy you're playing each week is having his best week every week against you, and you get losses because of that. But every week, anyone else you would have played, you would have beat them. So that's where it kind of helps out, and it's not just for you. It could be everyone in the league could get an additional win for being above that median, So it all depends. I like it. I think it kind of maybe spreads it out a little bit more, and makes it a little bit more like even playing field as far as points, because there is no real solution at the end of the year. Cool, like, you had the highest like points for in the league, but you didn't make the playoffs. Like, what is it? That's just like in football. It doesn't matter. They don't care about stats, anyone's stats. It all comes down to wins and losses. Wins and losses is what it truly comes down to. So I don't know. I like it. I'm for either way. If people don't want to do it, I'm fine with that too. Like, if we do want to do it, I'm for it. But so I like it.
Yeah, I think we'll try to roll it out in the experimental league for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So let's just touch on some, stats within GSC for you, Jordan. So this is your third season. Last season, you finished 8-6, finished fifth place. You have an overall win percentage of 55.56% with that rookie championship in 2021. Overall, pretty amazing stats. You're winning more than half your games within 3 years. That's pretty bomb right there.
Yeah, I'll take a winning percentage, a positive one. That's better than losing.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. It's tough, like even in my league this year, I'm 0-5. I haven't won a game. Like, I don't know if I'm going to win a game, like it feels bad. Like, obviously I know what I'm doing, but like Cody knows he's in that league. And I think like the first 3 weeks of that league, like I scored the second highest each week, but I lost to the highest scorer the first 3 weeks of that league. So I started out 0-3 tough. Like I think I'm maybe like fourth highest like points overall in that league. So it's just tough, but yeah, I didn't know my stats were that. I mean, even the year I won, I think me and Steven, Cortland Slutton, we started, I think I was 1-4 and he was 1-5 that year. And we both made it to the semifinals in league. I made it to the championship.
Yeah.
He lost in the semifinals. And I was honestly rooting for him because I was like, we started trash and like, look where we came, and it's like, that just goes to show you, like, don't give up, dude. Like, cause you make the playoffs, anything could happen. It doesn't matter who you're playing against. If they go, 13-0 going in the playoffs, they haven't lost the game. Oh, their team that week has the worst week they had all season. Your team has a pretty good week. You end up beating that person. You just never know. So just always stick with it. Like, I don't know, obviously week to week basis, you never know who's going to go off, what they're going to do.
Well, that happened with us in the best ball league 2 years ago. I went 12-0 throughout the whole season and met you in the championship, and that was my only loss, is when you won that league as well.
Yeah. So yeah, same thing right there is, yeah, you just have a great season and then boom, all it takes is 1 week, dude. That's all it takes.
I want to share with everybody a little bit about that season in that best ball league, because I was on cloud nine, man. I was really stoked with my team, obviously going 12-0. Like, I've never done that well in fantasy ever. And this is a pretty competitive competitive league that we were in, and I'm stoked. And for everybody listening, Jordan and I made it to the championship together. So with him and I being as close as we are, we were chatting back and forth and kind of talking crap to one another. And Jordan comes to me, he says, "This is so sick, man. Like, we both made it to the championship. What do you say, no matter who wins, we split the pot?" And it just kind of, I'm like, wow, like, are you really asking me that? I'm like, nah, man, screw that. Like, I'm 12-0. Like, fuck that. Like, I earned this. You know what I mean? Sure as shit. Like, Jordan beats me.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it just, that's kind of guy that Jordan is. Like, let's split it. We both walk away with something. That's what I get, I guess. Maybe that's what cost me in the end. But I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I look at it at that point and like, obviously I wouldn't do that with like everybody and stuff like that. But like you said, with us being good friends, I just thought like, hey man, we made it this far. This isn't a league either of us are running. Like, let's just split the money. Like, we're both coming out winners. And I think we ended up making a deal though, is whoever did win that year, I think would pay the person's entry fee for the next season. Yeah. So I think I ended up paying Cody's entry fee next year in that league. So I don't know. I think it's cool because the way I look at it, in the big scheme of things, it's not like we're playing for life-changing money or anything, and when it boils down to it, it's not high money week to week basis. But at the end, man, it's like you win this and it's like, cool. Like, I wasn't expecting, an extra $400, just for playing some fantasy football. So it's just like kind of a bonus to win leagues, obviously that's why everyone's playing, is to win the league, but there can only be one winner. And sometimes it's not the person you want to win, or you're going up against, your friend and you both want to win, you're rooting for your buddy, but you also want to win. So it's definitely tough, depending on who you're playing against and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm always one for if it's someone I know and we're going to win a decent amount of pot, for the money, I'm down to split it. Cause it's like, man, like, hey, we're both coming out of here positive. Like, and at the same time, like, I'm doing it cause like, I don't want to lose. Let's just split it right now. Cause that way, if I lose, we're still both making good money. So it just all depends. But yeah, it is cool, you know, making it to beating someone like you who does have a season like that. Like, it makes you kind of feel better because it's like, man, dude went undefeated, had an awesome team, and all it took was that 1 week to beat you, you know? So,
Yep. Well, you're off to a decent start so far in GSC this year. You're currently sitting in 6th place, 2-3. We're getting into week 6 here. Lucked out a little bit, kind of victim of circumstances this, but your keeper was Raheem Mostert this year. Obviously, Devon Achane going down. That increases Mostert's value a little bit. How are you feeling about your team so far? Walk us through some of the moves that you've made and kind of what you see moving forward with this.
yeah, pull up my team for sure to like kind of talk about it for sure. But yeah, with Mostert being my keeper, it was really, I think I was even kind of talking with you before the season started about obviously who our keepers were and who we could keep. And I think it really was coming down to Mostert or Deshaun Watson, and maybe even Pacheco was in there. But I really thought Mostert, because I was like, man, he's truly should be the starter on Miami. Like, he really doesn't have that much competition. As long as Tua stays healthy, that offense should be like putting up a lot of points each game. So once it came down to he was kind of named officially the starter, wasn't going to have really that much competition. That's why I kept Mostert, and he was late in the draft for me. So obviously he's worked out great for me. And I don't even feel like he's done anything wrong to lose the starting job in Miami to Achane, but obviously that dude's just special. He's fast. Like, anyone that knows football and you watch that guy, like, give him the ball and something good is going to happen. He's going to fly by guys, you know. So no knock on Mostert. Like, maybe it is a good thing that they are both on the team. But yeah, Achane going out definitely helps Mostert's value go up for at least the next 4 weeks. If I could get, you know, hopefully 4 wins with Achane out, that'd be huge. Yeah, I was running backs, like I mentioned earlier, I had drafted Saquon Barkley with my first pick, and I don't know, he's tough because it's like, man, he had a good year last year, and it's like, is he just one of those players where every other year is going to be a good year type for him, you know? So, and he's good when he is healthy and he's on the field, obviously, like, he's valuable to the Giants, you know, but this year with the Giants, the way they're playing, Daniel Jones, I don't think that's going to pay off. Yeah, big pickup for me. I think you guys even touched on it on one of the podcasts, Sam Laporta. Like, that was huge for me. I remember talking about him even before the season started. This kid came out of Iowa, same with Hawkinson and Kittle, you know, so it's like a tight end university type thing. You got guys coming out of college like that are putting up the numbers they are in the NFL right now. Took chances on other guys, you know. Michael Thomas is a guy that I don't think I've started him yet this year in my league, but he's one of those guys. He's putting up 10 points a week, you know, hoping he was going to do something. Took chances on other people. Terry McLaurin, I knew he was on which I thought was going to be a bad offense, with Sam Howell. Don't know much about Sam Howell, you know. Didn't have that much faith in him. CD Lamb, he's on Dallas. He hasn't panned out too well to start this season. Lamar Jackson, same thing, man. He has those big games, and then he just kind of looks mediocre other weeks, where it's like, where's this 40-point performance from Jackson going to come from, you know? Defenses, I'm always a week-to-week guy on defense. I'll play matchups big time in defense. Definitely picked up the Raiders defense this week going against New England with the offense they're putting out lately. Looks like a high school team could probably stop them at this point. So hopefully the Raiders defense does something this week or today against them. So,
good luck.
We'll see. But yes, I always I don't know. I feel like unless you're getting McCaffrey as a running back, like, try to get top wide receivers and a tight end or something, because it feels like they're putting out a lot more points lately than running backs are, just because obviously more teams are going to, you know, 2 running backs splitting carries a lot of the time. So, yeah, unless you have McCaffrey, you know, or maybe Josh Jacobs, like, there's not many of the guys in the league that are getting 90% of the snaps anymore. But I don't know. Trades wise, I feel like I'm always trying to be very active in trades, always trying to talk with people, seeing where their head's at. Like, I feel like I always try to make more than beyond fair trades with everyone. Like I feel like trades should benefit both parties, you know.
Well,
So
you and I got one done this week.
what was that?
You and I got one done this week.
Yeah,
I
so
feel good about it.
yeah, we that trade, I mean, I didn't really want Garrett Wilson because I already had him in another league, and I think I played him half the time this year just because I am scared a week to week basis with uh Zach Wilson as the quarterback. But you know, I'll take chances if it's especially if you're doing two players for two players, and you know, you might be getting a better running back or and they're getting a better wide receiver, and it's kind of a trade off for both parties, you know. Everyone always just wants a fair trade, you know. Obviously, you hope your guy does great, and the guy you're trading away maybe doesn't do as great because he's not on your team anymore. Obviously, like you're gonna be disappointed if you trade someone away on your team and they end up going off the rest of the season. So it's just like
Looking at it now, 4:27 left in the second. Christian Kirk has 0 points for you.
yeah, so that's like that. Like he hasn't even had a ball thrown to him. Which and they're up 14-3, which isn't good, you know. Um, yeah, Kirk kind of worries me because it is Jacksonville. And obviously with Calvin Ridley, I think he's like, you know, and gonna end up turning into the main guy there. But they do spread the ball around to a lot of people in Jacksonville. It's not really a one man show in Jacksonville. So yeah, I took a chance on him, but I feel like, man, like the year I did win, like I think I made two trades that season. That's like the most trades I've ever made in a year in a season, and I end up winning that year. So maybe I'm like superstitious about it. And it's like, man, make trades because good things are going to come out of it, and you know it's going to end up putting you over the top. But just one of those things. Still, you never know. The guys have to actually perform for you to, you know, make it worth it. But it's one of those things you never know. But yeah, I feel like I'm always active in trades, trying to, you know, especially when someone puts a player on the trade block that I'm interested in, I'll at least get a conversation going. What, you know, what do you want for this guy? What are you looking for? Um, Sometimes I might not have collateral to even throw at a trade, you know, but still I'll, you know, offer something, offer fab money to people that, you know, might be running low on some. I try not to spend too much money on fab. And the one guy I did this year was Khalil Herbert. I threw $21, which I'm trying to throw a lot of money at guys, and he ends up getting hurt. He's on the IR now. So that's just right there. Throw $20 at a guy, he's boom on the IR now. I mean, it's like Ryan throwing $100 on A Chain and IR, you know. But I think he's in the long term could be a league winner and a keeper, obviously, depending on how he comes back the rest of this year. But yeah, I'm always big on trades and always willing to make moves and try to shift stuff around and see where it leads teams.
So what are your expectations moving forward? And do you have any thoughts on some of the moves within the league or just thoughts on the league in general for this year?
As far as GSC?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was honestly expecting more moves in the league. You know, I think a lot of people are just gun shy, you know, to make a move, you know, because like I said earlier, you don't want to trade a guy and he goes off for the other team. And then that's going to make you never want to make a trade again. You know, don't look at one trade like that that should ruin your trades for the rest of the season, you know, or moving forward. Just take a chance on people. But no, the league, like I said, I like it. I love it. It's fun. Love how everyone's engaged. Like for the most part, you know, everyone kind of will engage with you, like in a conversation for a trade or stuff like that. The other thing is, like we talked about before, how competitive everyone is in as far as waiver claims and putting money on people and stuff like that. Sometimes people get a little bit crazy when I see what money is thrown at people. I'm like, I wasn't throwing more than $15 at this guy. I didn't think anyone's going to go 30, you know. But you know, you get $100 to start. Everyone starts with the same, so it's all up to you how you choose and spend it. You know, sometimes, you know, it ends up working good for you. Other times, you know, you want to pick up someone late in the season, you might not even have $1 to put on them. So could come back to bite you. But no, I like
Don't forget,
it.
people, we can trade fab dollars.
Yeah, always. So yeah, I'm always willing to throw in some fab in there to make it a little bit more interesting, like I said, especially when someone's low or doesn't have any, like at least to give them some money, towards the end if they're trying to pick up someone, at least put $1, like Price is Right style. Someone's going zero. If you're putting that dollar, you're at least getting them. So,
Sir.
but yeah, I like it. I just like how everyone is involved and competitive, and always looking at guys to pick up, especially when there are injuries. Who's the next man up? Who's gonna get 30-40 bucks thrown at them for the next week to have them on their roster.
Do you have a matchup or a rivalry that you look forward to?
I don't like. I don't think there's anyone in this league where I'm like, man, like
It's
I-
me. Fuck you.
it probably like I just feel like for some reason, like a lot of the times when I play Ryan, like Ryan, I don't know, he has like a good week against me, or like my team's just like bad that week, but I feel like every time I look at Ryan, like I'm gonna beat him this week, and then like here we go. I'm looking at 230, and it's like we're down by 40 points, like 10% chance to win. It's like, well, probably not gonna happen, So, but yeah, it probably is Cody, I'd say. But I mean, when you're playing someone who's never won the league, like it makes it a little bit easier. So, I mean, obviously you want to go champ versus champ on matchups, but no, I honestly look forward to like playing everybody like in this league, because I don't ever feel like I'm going into a matchup like, oh, I'm gonna win. Like, I'm never like super confident. Like everyone's got, knows what's going on and paying attention, and there are some people, obviously team looks better on paper, um yeah, I'm never too like looking at someone on a weak matchup like, man, I hope I beat this guy, like, some sort of deep rivalry there or something. But obviously probably Cody, like it's probably a little bit sweeter to beat him, especially when he's having like a better season and he is running his mouth a little bit more. Like it makes it a little bit sweeter to beat somebody like that.
We'll see each other again this year. You'll get your chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get my chance again.
We're playing each other
again.
We're playing each other in the Best Bros draft today, or
DeAndre Hopkins.
league. I mean,
I was going to swap him out for
but
Jacoby Myers, but it is what it is. And obviously, you can say that after the fact. And, he puts up 30 points, and then you look at it and, man, I'm glad I put that guy in there. But yeah, I don't know. It is cool that, me and you are in 3 leagues together, and then me, you, and Brandon in 2 leagues together that we're all in. So it is cool being in like multiple leagues like that. And maybe you're not doing so good in one of the leagues, but the other league you are doing good, so
absolutely.
Makes you feel a little bit better, like especially when you're playing with friends and it's like, hey man, I'm 0-5 in my league, but I promise, like I know what I'm doing. Like look at my other records in the league, so kind of helps it out, I guess, instead of just having one league.
Yeah, for sure. Well, like I said, man, it's been you've been an awesome addition to Get Sunday Covered. I know everybody, I can speak on at least most of the league. We're happy to have you here. You've definitely brought a level of competition that not too many players could. Won it as a rookie. You're always competitive, and I think you spice it up just with the trades that you offer, like you mentioned, and things like that. So we're really happy to have you on here, man. It's been great talking to you. We're going to close it out here with one final segment, though. I asked Seven the same thing. I want to ask, have you seen the show Hot Ones before?
Hot Ones?
Yeah.
No.
The Hot Ones is this guy just interviews celebrities while they're eating like really spicy hot wings, and they have to answer the questions while they're eating hot wings. Well, they have a segment in there, and it's called Explain That Graham, and we're going to steal that from them. So we dug up a picture from your social media that we're going to share today, and you're going to get to explain that to everybody else what's going on here.
Oh goodness. Hey, I got a Steelers hat on in that picture too.
Yeah, you do.
I don't even know. Honestly,
I actually know the story behind this picture.
Yeah,
though, so.
This was probably 8 years. No, this is longer than 8 years ago. So I've been in my league 10 years. So it's probably 12 years ago, 11, 12 years ago, somewhere in that point. Me and Cody were working for a delivery company that delivered stuff for Furniture Row. So like new furniture, appliances, stuff like that. And I don't know, we were kind of getting a couch out of a box, and I was in the back of the truck and kind of fell back in the box, and Cody took a picture of me, and it was working with Cody at that company made work go by a lot better, a lot quicker. So it's working with someone like you can talk to just about like with sports or anything about life. Like, obviously we're having a fun day here, just messing around in a box that a couch was coming out of. So it was just a fun day at work in the back of a truck.
Yeah, I think we debated maybe keeping you back there while we were driving around, but we decided maybe that wasn't such a good idea.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah. Yeah, that had to have been 2011, 2012, something like that.
Yeah, at least 10 to 12 years ago, somewhere in that point.
Yeah. Cool, man. Anything else you want to add? Any thoughts you want to share with the league? Talk some crap. Now's your chance.
No, I'm gunning to win it this year again. Be a 2-time champ. I don't want to run my mouth too hard because something bad's going to happen and I'm not going to win a game the rest of the season or something. Karma's going to come right around. So good luck to everybody. I hope it's just good matchups every week. Like that's all I hope for. No one getting blown out. Don't ever hope anyone gets injured. You want everyone healthy, all your top guys staying healthy. That way we get the best matchups throughout the year. So good luck to everyone. Good luck to you guys. Thanks for having me on here. And let's enjoy the rest of our Sundays and watch some football.
Let's go. Oh, yeah. Sweet. All right,
Thank-
everybody. Well, thank you so much for joining us this week. Get Sunday Covered podcast with our player exclusive, Mr. Steeler Virginity. Jordan, thank you again. Brandon, thanks as always for putting all this together for us. You're the man. Enjoy the rest of your day. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Drop your comments. Let us know who you want to hear from next. And we will see you Wednesday morning.
Wednesday morning, and anytime you have any questions, if you have anything, don't be scared to shoot it to our email at getsundaycovered@gmail.com, and always hit us up on our socials at getsundaycovered. And if you have anything you need, don't be afraid to hit us up to get your Sunday covered. But we will see you guys Wednesday morning.
Take care, everybody.